Welcome to Beholder's Eye, 5th edition actual play Dungeons & Dragons podcast. Thank you for joining us. My name is Alex, and I'll be your host and dungeon master. Joining me, as always, is...
Magnar Skullgrim, Goliath Sorcerer.
Hobonite, Fire Gensai, Dragon Sorcerer.
Margraine Silverbeard, Dwarf Paladin.
So, Sam, you want to tell us what happened last time?
Sure. So last time we had left after fighting all of those red-skinned, for lack of a better word, demons. We had searched the bodies. We found this one really strange book in the rib cage of what looked like a shaman or a sorcerer. We then, this black kind of almost aura was coming out of some of the captives, and all of their eyes went black, and they were starting to chant that a toddy man comes, and we then. Let's see. We figured out by removing them from there that they were okay, but the two with the auras, one turned into one of the red-skinned creatures, and the other one we were lucky to put to sleep, and it was okay. We had to kill the other though. We returned to the town of Mooresville and returned these people. They were very, very thankful for our service, and then we head off. On the journey, we learned some new things because of Hibonite reading that book. He turned out it's a grimoire of sorts, and it talks about some stuff from we're suspecting a very long time ago. When we arrived at Castle Delacroix, we were surrounded by soldiers and asked to relinquish our weapons, and we were put in manacles and we're taken to prison again. That's about it.
Okay, so we will start with you guys in chains in a prison cell. You are all together. The manacles have been chained to the floor, so you're not able to move about too freely. You've got a little bit of room. You're left there for, it could be a couple of hours, it could just be maybe an hour and a half, you're not sure, but it is definitely a dark cell. There aren't any windows to it, and strangely enough, you seem to be in a cell that is kind of solitary, in solitude. You don't see, it's not like there are a bunch of bars and you see other people in the dungeon.
Yeah, they're being very careful with us.
After, whether it's a couple hours or maybe an hour and a half or whatever it is, you hear the lock on the door of the bar slide across, and in comes a very well-dressed man. And he's an elf, very thin, angular looking. Margraine, you do recognize this as Duke Matthias Delacroix. With him is a woman who comes in. You can tell it's a woman by the shape. She has a wide-brimmed hat on with a veil covering her face. The veil is not so thick around the eyes, and you can see her eyes kind of glinting in the fire of the torches that are in the cell. But her mouth, from basically her nose down, you can't see her face because the mesh on the veil is too thick. She does come in with the Duke, and he says, "All right, so you all are, according to my ranger, the people who you found actually buried in part of the mind of Luxor Ironfist. Is that correct?"
Yes.
"And you do look familiar to me, young man."
Yes, you saw me probably about 2 weeks ago. I was delivering the surveyor to your service. You were going to ferry him onwards.
Yes, Percival. He's still here. He's a boisterous man, a good man, likes his drink a bit.
Yes.
Yes, I am Duke Delacroix, and I am sorry to do this to a man of the cloth, of course, but we can't be too cautious, and when something has happened as that flaming surge that has gone through the sky, people get scared. I've been alive long enough to know that just jumping to conclusions or assuming friends are friends is not always the best option. So tell me,
Yes.
you, big man, what is your name?
I'm Magnar Skullgrim.
Yes, and where do you come from?
I come from the wildlands.
Yes, I can tell. And how about you? You are very unique. What is your name?
My name's Hibonite. I'm a travelling tall talesman.
A traveling tall talesman?
Yes.
And what exactly is that?
I travel the land, learning new experiences, discovering new things, and every now and then I get to stop and tell these tales to groups of people. That's how I met these friends.
Very interesting. And he says, this is my loyal compatriot. Her name is Nick Searsale, and she is a good friend of mine who helps me in these kinds of situations. And she raises her hands and starts to chant, casting a spell. I'm going to need all of you guys to make a charisma saving throw for me.
This bitch chose the wrong stat to try and test again.
I know, she picked the wrong one for me.
That's a 23.
Only 16 for me.
9.
All right, DC 25. Nobody hit that?
Oh, for fuck's sake, Alex. We're level 2.
I think it's physically impossible. I could have only rolled a 20.
On a
Who would hit that?
19, I can match that. On a natural 20, I can beat it.
You get a 10% chance, so that's a huge chance, really, for a level 2 person.
It's like a 5% chance.
No, it's 2, because 19 counts
two
and 20
chances.
counts, so that's 10%. Okay, so you guys, just so you're aware, you have Zone of Truth cast on you.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
I was going to tell the truth anyways.
Yeah, I kind of planned on doing that anyway.
I know, that's why I didn't care if I made it super high. So, tell me, now, Luxor is, I don't know if I'd say a friend, but a very familiar acquaintance. I've spent many a night getting drunk with him, and he has been a boon to my dukedom. His revenue alone in taxes is it's remarkable what he can bring in. The man has a nose for money. There's no question about that. So, there have been a lot of strange things that happen, and the fact that you were found in the mine is of some concern. So tell me, you big man, what part did you take in the death of Luxor?
I don't think we took any part in the death of Luxor. I think we were looking for him because he hadn't made his red silver shipments. Is that's what I believe to be the truth. Yes, we did not take any part.
So, how did the whole side of that mountain come down?
There was some sort of ritual going on there while we were investigating. And suddenly this beast appeared, and the mountain was shaking, and the rocks came down. We tried to escape, but we could not make it out.
So why were you sent to find Luxor? And this time he asks you, Hibonite.
It was a church person. He asked us to go there. We turned up. After we spent some time at a tavern. We thought we were going to start a tavern, but we decided against the idea. Then when we got there, we thought this creature, his eyes shone, were the only thing we could see. Well, they could see, I could see more. And then when we attacked and killed that creature, we decided we were a bit hurt, so we thought we'd have a nap.
No guile in this
Okay. So you took a nap,
And then when we woke up, it turned. We looked above us and we heard a little roar and a flash of light, and then this white thing flew past us, which I think is the thing you were talking about, a fire in the sky. We tried to run away, and out of the mountain as it started collapsing, we tripped up a little bit. The mountain landed on us. Things were dark for a while. Kind of hallucinogenic dream sequence went on. And then your man found us. And there were a few other people with him, but we lost them on the way back.
So, tell me, Margraine.
Yes?
What has your involvement with these Soul Green soldiers been?
Well, the only thing I've seen about Soul Green soldiers is on our way to the mine looking for Luxor. We know that he often stays at the Trapper's Lodge. So we went to investigate the Trapper's Lodge, and we found dead soldiers of ours in there. Inside we found that they were killed by men who are currently still there, dressed as soldiers from Soul Green. I don't think that's correct, though. I think they're actually Crucian. They had Crucian military tattoos.
Really?
And that's the place we thought we were going to start a tavern at, but we decided against the idea.
Thank you, Heavenite.
It's no problem. It's not a tale if you don't give all the detail.
I gave him all the pertinent detail, Hibonite. There's a difference.
Not a tall talisman, that's why.
The elfin lady says to the dude, "Oh, I like him. He's got a sense of humor. He's so exotic."
You can do magic and I can see your eyes, but a little bit more information about you. I might like you as well.
Oh, we can have a fun time.
I hear ale is normally used for that, although I'm not really that used to social customs outside of my town.
Oh no. We prefer wine, but ale will do. And the Duke says, "Alright, enough of this. Alright, sorry about that. We just had to be sure." And he snaps his fingers. A couple of guards come in and unchain you all. "Oh, yes, things have been very strange, as you know, and I do apologize for this, but, we cannot be too careful anymore. So you will all be my guests as more than an apology from me, and I do hope you accept. You will all have your own rooms, baths drawn up for you, and whatever needs you may have. Of course, ale, as you say, exotic friend, and wine, or whatever else you would like. And of course, we will be having dinner tomorrow night. We've got a number of guests here that it should be an entertaining time, if nothing else."
Then thank you very much for your hospitality.
Oh, my pleasure. And once again, I'm so sorry. So you guys are led away out of the dungeon. And
As we're walking out the dungeon, I will message Margraine, saying, "I thought you said they didn't like magic here. I just couldn't stop myself with that spell she cast."
Yeah.
I love that sound.
I don't know, Hibonite. That's it. I don't know.
As you guys are walking out, Nyx looks at you and she pulls out a large deck of cards, which has an ornate design on the back, and she says, "If any of you boys would like a reading, please come see me. I'm always happy to open my deck of doors."
That sounds like a different experience. I may see you later.
Oh, yes. Well, if you are interested, it would be unladylike for me to invite you to my room, but I wouldn't mind meeting you in one of my small offices.
You have more than one office? Why do you need more than one office?
I like the way your mind works. So many questions.
I mean, surely if you have one office, then you're going to be in one room at a time, so why have multiple? That doesn't make sense.
So exotic.
People of this kingdom are really weird.
Oh my god.
Alright, so you guys are led away, and each of you is given a very large room, all with balcony windows, looking at over the Duke's land. One of the things about the Duke's land is he also, outside of the castle walls, or actually, I guess it's within the castle walls, and I'm saying this wrong. There's castle walls, and then also a part of the walls actually go out into a into a fairly large city that's out there as well. So this is one of the most urban cities, really, within Thalmer, outside of Kalandur, which is the capital. So, just to give you guys an idea of what you're looking at here. But you guys, you're given very large rooms, very, nice goose down pillows. Everybody has a bath drawn for them if they choose to partake, and food brought to your room.
And did we get our stuff back?
Your stuff is the Duke lets you know. Oh yes, yeah, your weapons and are actually being oiled if they need it and shined at this point in time. We can do the same for any armor you have as well.
Okay.
Do I give the armor to you, or
No, leave it. Actually, just leave it next to the door in your room, and we'll have a valet come and take care of it.
And where could I go retrieve my my stuff?
Oh, it will be brought to your room.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, of course.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure remember where the cathedral is if you need to pray or whatever
Yes.
it is you do.
Yes. Yes, I do. I remember from last time.
Oh,
They were very kind to me.
I am looking forward to the discussion tomorrow night at dinner. We have actually a priest who has joined us as well. Are you familiar with Blevin the Holy?
I have heard of Blevin the Holy. Yes. We just actually ran into some people who met him.
Yes. He's a fascinating person. I'm interested
I'm
to.
sure I can have a very interesting conversation with that man.
Oh,
I'm sure you can, Hibonite. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
all right. So you guys.
and will Percival be there?
Oh yes. And once he actually got done with the initial surveying, he's very proud of himself. He does say that it should only be about 3 months for the road to be built, if everything he's saying is correct.
Wow.
So yes, with the church's help and everything else, and of course the Queen's purse as well, and contributions from rather generous dukes, such as myself, and we're looking forward to that. So he's celebrating right now. He's been up to his little gnomish neck in wine and whores. It's rather uncomely, but there you have it.
Yes. I see.
Yes. So,
Okay.
all right. I must bid you all adieu. I'm sorry for the rough entrance. I know Cam apologizes as well. He did have good things to say about you. I'm so unfortunate about his team. All right. Well,
Don't
Have a
worry,
good
we're used to
evening.
jail.
I'm sorry?
Well, I've been in jail with these men before.
What are you doing? I'm not understanding.
He said
upset.
he's been to jail with us before. He's used to it. Oh my god.
Oh, really? So tell me about that. What exactly?
Before we went on the last mission, when we were in the town, there was a big dragonborn looking person. They had their red hand on their armor. I think they're called the Red Hand.
Yes,
They couldn't spell things. They weren't very smart. And then they were beating up this gnome because he didn't believe in their god. And I don't believe in their god either, so they had to go at me. And then, one thing led to another. They all fell asleep. And then the town guard turned up. They decided we should all go to jail while they decide what happened. We were let off as innocent. And then my friend over here, Margaret, sorry, and he then beat the man who was threatening the gnome in a duel.
Wow. Dinner, it will be fun. And Nyx is shuffling her cards, and she says, yes, let's see what card represents to me the most right now. And she pulls out a card and turns it toward you and says, oh, it's due.
It's what?
Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna go to my room. Yeah. Oh my god, that's too much. Yeah.
I will go to my room. I'll put my chainmail by the door.
And even though they already oiled my equipment, I'm gonna take a bath and then oil my armor and my hammer and everything. Take care of it. Kind of like last time I was here.
I'm going to stand on the balcony and random people I see walking past and just be messaging.
Oh my god!
So you see people, as you message them, just kind of freak out, look around, and start running.
I'll get a little bit day drunk.
And then on to dinner, maybe? Do you think there's anything we need to do before then, or?
No, I mean, do you guys have any... There's nothing... I said no, but there's nothing that you guys need to... Or nothing that comes up during the day. So whatever you'd like to do.
Dinner sounds cool to me.
Yep.
Dinner sounds very interesting. Especially with Hibonite today. This is gonna be fun. Gonna have Father Blebin in a fight with Hibonite. It'd be great.
Not necessarily in a fight.
The only thing that did happen that day is each one of you had a tailor come in and give you measurements, and you're all dressed in finery now.
I'm still dressed in my armor.
Okay.
Yeah. They can have the fine clothes underneath, but I got my chain over it and my tabard.
What sort of fine clothes?
It's
like
basically...
suit sort of thing? Or?
Yeah, it's a suit sort of thing with tails.
Hibonite will be wearing his normal clothes and he'll have a jacket over the top.
Oh, I like that.
Everything I've seen left on the bed. That's not comfortable to wear.
How about Magnar?
Put my bracers on. If I can have them under the suit, that's fine.
Sure, and the jewels kind of stick out like you're wearing, very ritzy cufflinks.
Oh, right. I forgot they had that.
And
So.
I'm wearing a top hat as well, if possible.
Okay, yes, you have that.
Yeah, I guess I'm just me, fully armored. Yeah.
All right, so you guys are seated at the table. Of course, at the head of the table is Duke.
Oh, I have
Delacroix.
my hammer with me, if I can.
No,
Okay.
they're not going to let you take your weapons.
How about just a light hammer?
No.
Just a small one.
No,
No?
no.
Just an axe to cut his food with. He's not good with. He's got
can we
good
have a
with knives,
dagger?
He uses axes.
No.
Oh.
They're not going to let you have weapons. I mean,
Oh, okay.
What about a battle axe?
A
It's up
shield?
your steak.
if you want to carry your shield with you, that's fine.
No, I'm just messing with you. No, I'm cool with that, all of it.
All right. You, like I said, at the head of the table is Duke Delacroix. You see Percy again. He's red-faced and smiling, obviously deep into his cups already. You see a very handsome but stern man, also an elf. He is dressed in it's a complete black suit. It's not a suit, but it's basically a black uniform that's buttoned up to his up to his neck, and he wears a wide-brimmed hat with a buckle on it. And this is the standard garb of the clerics of Saint Morin. And so, Margaret, you assume this is Blevin the Holy.
Okay.
Also joining them and sitting next to Duke Delacroix is a large man. He's older. He's got one of those Ambrose Burnside kind of mustaches going on. And this is Brommel Grainar, who is the chief men of arms for the Queen. Joining them also is a woman named Adeline Renard. And she is a human. She is the head of the Merchants Guild. Then you see, of course, Nyx, who you guys have met the night before, and a spindly old man named Abernathy Fenris. And he is a merchant. And I'm introducing this great new smoking leaf. It's quite fun. It does come from beyond the Western Wildlands, and it's something that the pagans have used, and it really, really both takes the edge off, makes food delicious, and helps you focus. It's a wonderful thing.
Oh, wow.
I can work with that.
This is a high society dinner, man. Oh, I feel a little bit out of place.
Don't worry, you don't look as out of place as Hibonite.
Well, you're wearing a jacket and top hat. So.
Jacket and top hat, they're just really weird, colourful clothes.
They might assume you're like a, billionaire philanthropist. They're all eccentric like that.
And, of course, Hibonite, you're sitting next to Nyx. She greets you at the door. Come sit next to me. I think we'll have a wonderful evening.
Does she point out who the Sir Robard is to me?
Who though? I'm sorry, though who?
Does she point out who's who to me so I know?
Yes, yeah. Through your conversation. So, they do have, actually, so you will be sitting across from Blevin the Holy, Margraine, and...
Nice.
Yeah, actually, Magnar, you're sitting next to Brommel Grenar.
All right. And what was he?
He is basically the head general for the Queen. He's somebody who's very renowned. You I guess wouldn't really know it, but
Right.
Margraine, you would know. He was he fought at the Battle of Kretvik's Pass, which is actually when the king died. He was there, but Brommel helped hold the emperor off, so that way Emperor Simon couldn't actually come in and take over the land.
Is he human?
Got it.
Yes, he is a human.
Okay.
So that's not foreboding at all, because that's Magnar sat next to a good fighter, Margraine sat opposite a good fighter, and me sat next to someone who does magic.
Well, I'm sat across from a holy man, not necessarily a good fighter.
Cleric.
Fire, brimstone. All that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You're gonna love him,
Yeah.
aren't you? Aren't you, Margraine?
Okay, I think, yeah, we're going to have a great conversation.
All right, so the Duke sits down. He comes in wearing some of the greatest finery you've seen. He has a bejeweled cane that he carries with him. He sits down and says, all right, and we will have Blevin the Holy. It is requested that he ask the great Theos for a blessing on our food. So Blevin stands up. Oh, thank you very much. It's so great to see so many great and interesting friends here, and it's an honor to be invited by Duke Delacroix. I do want to praise Theos for giving us such wonderful and exotic and interesting company, for shedding his love upon us through this food, nurturing our bodies, making us all individually beautiful, and yet one and holy within him. And we pray all of this in the name of Theos, with love to Saint Morin and Saint Eligius. Thank you, Theos. Now please eat.
And yeah, I'll start to eat, and I'll,
I will start eating
nod my
act
head.
civil. To start with.
to start with. Oh, good. Yeah, just to start with.
Well, I can start with the fun stuff straight away if you would like.
No, it's okay.
Magnar's
Yeah.
eaten too.
So, what was his name again? The priest?
Blevin?
Blevin. Got it. Father Blevin.
Yes.
It's an honor to meet you. I've heard many things about you.
Oh yes, and I have been recently informed about you as well. It's an honor to meet you. It seems like you've had quite a trip.
Yes, we have had quite a trip. We ran into a village you passed by not too long ago and everything.
Oh really? Which I've stopped at a number of villages on my travels.
Well, our last stop before here was Mooresville. You made quite an impression.
Mooresville. Yes. Let me see. And he pulls out a book, a small leather-bound book, and he looks at it. Oh yes, Mooresville. A small town, a delightful town. Maybe a little bit lost, but yes, I hope that my word helped them see the light.
It certainly made an impression on some.
Oh, that is wonderful to hear. That is wonderful to hear. How goes it in Mooresville?
Not too well actually. They were recently attacked. Many of them stolen away, and luckily my friends and I were able to return them all.
Oh, well, that is wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. But stolen away, these are dark times.
They are.
Please tell me about them. Who stole them away?
Well, these red-skinned, I don't know. They wore armor and shields. I've never seen them before in my life. Yes.
But you were able to save them all. Then the town is good.
We were able to save all those who lived. Many of them.
Oh, praise Theos. That is wonderful news.
Yes, praise Theos.
And then the Duke says, "Oh, yes, Sir Blevin. Just so you're aware, that gentleman down there in the top hat is a sorcerer of sorts, as I understand it."
I stand up, wave at everyone with produce flame hands.
Oh, yes, how wonderful. And Duke claps, and Blevin says, "Oh yes, well, it is great to see that Theos works and gives many talents to many different types of people." And then he takes his small writing utensil out of his pocket and makes a note in his book.
Fun.
I need more fun spells.
And so Adeline Renar, who is once again the head of the Merchants Guild, says, "So, tell me, well, any of you traveling, apparently I've been informed that Luxor Iron Fist is no more."
It would appear so. Yes. We have been unable to find him.
Such a shame.
Was that the man in the mountain?
Yes, the man we were sent to find, Hibonite.
Alright, that's when the mountain fell on us.
Yes, that's when the mountain fell on us, Hibonite.
And you survived.
Yes, praise be to Theos, we survived. We were deemed worthy and returned.
Blevin says, "Excuse me, what do you mean you were deemed worthy and returned?"
It wasn't our time, Father Blevin. Theos provides for all, and
Even apparently not for his followers, as I was returned.
Yes, Theos is of course merciful and loving.
yes, he is.
Not many of the church seem to be that way.
Oh my goodness. And Margraine's head just goes straight into his hand. Like, oh my god.
And Nick squeals a little bit in her chair next to you and claps her gloved hands together.
Well, Theos loves all, but men are flawed.
Yes, of course. Theos does love all, and he does what he can to purge the evil from man of all kinds.
You seem to dislike one type in particular.
Oh, and what is that?
Well, you seem to hate all magic users, but I'm a good person. I've saved people, but I seem to be disregarded as evil.
I have never said... where have you heard that? I've never said that. I think that magic is a wonderful thing bestowed upon certain people, whether they can learn
I've met more men in my travels of religious cloth who disliked magic users, such as when we were in our town and we had to go to jail. And then we met another man in the last town we were in who talked to, and I'm going to point at Sir Robard, and talked to him, and he got the impression that all magic users are evil after talking to him. I had a nice little chat with that boy. I think he's in an institute now.
I'm sure I'm not. I'm sure that I'm not sure what you're talking about. I believe that magic is something that Theos has given us, and given many people, such as yourself. And he nods at Nyx as well, and says, a talent and something to be used. Now, sometimes it can get out of hand, and I think certain writings have shown us that it can be used for evil and run rampant without any kind of regulation. That is when bad things happen.
Are you saying magic should be regulated solely by the church?
Can you think of anyone better?
The village I come from, most of us use magic, and we have almost no magic crime.
How large is the village you come from?
Well, it's more of a cluster of villages. There's like 6 or 7 different villages, and to my knowledge, there's not really any magic crime in any of them. But there's a decent number of us. We just like to keep to ourselves because other people don't seem to like us.
Yes. No, I do understand that.
That is what I've been told is rude in your culture to say that. Oh. I am right on that, Margaret, aren't I?
Head continues to be in hand. Oh my god.
Well, as things happen, and I've traveled from one edge of Thalmer. I've traveled actually across it now twice.
What's the most interesting thing you've seen?
Most interesting thing I've seen? Well, there was on the western wildlands, there was a giant with 2 heads that talked back and forth to each other as though they had 2 different brains. It was fascinating.
It rings a bell.
Yes,
we've heard that from somewhere.
Yes, it was fascinating, and I must say my trip there was delightful. And on my trip back, I've seen so many strange things. Soldiers from Solgreen have been attacking people from Thalmer, and as far as I know they weren't happy with the westward expansion of Thalmer into the western wildlands, but I had no idea that has been invading.
I'm going to look at Margraine just to see if he's interjecting on that point.
On him,
Wait.
I'll kind of say, I don't know if that's the case, and just still kind of hanging my head a little bit, like, oh my goodness, what have I gotten myself
we went
into?
to a tavern or a trapper's lodge. We thought we were going to turn into a tavern, but we decided against it after a while. And we met some people who were in that sort of armor, but they had tattoos from what was the other place? A different
Crux.
country. Crux, that's it. Thank you, Margaret.
Yes, Hibonite.
Oh, really? That is interesting. Maybe some deserters from Crux have gone to the side of Soulgreen.
Maybe it's a bigger plot.
Yeah, I think somebody wants war between us, but what do I know?
Oh, are you saying that somebody wants war between Soulgreen and Thelma?
Well, that was my initial impression when I found all of the Soulgreen soldiers had the tattoos of Crucians.
Well, this is something I haven't heard yet. This is fascinating.
Do you have any way to look into members of the Crucian army? I have all of their serial numbers here.
Well, I'm just rather confused. I know of no way for the Crucian soldiers to come here, except through Kretvit's Pass, which we have well guarded. So I guess that would be my question. You say you see this, but how have you any proof of it?
Smugglers often go through different people's borders without being seen, and we have some, serial numbers, but this isn't really dinner talk, though people do tend to argue a lot over dinners. I've seen in my travels in your lands. Argue a lot, generally when I'm around.
You are quite right, my friend, Hibonite. That is correct. This is not dinner talk.
Yes, if you would wish to talk to me after dinner, I would be more than happy to give you the information.
Yes, that might be good. And Levin looks at you and said, "Oh yes, I do have something to speak with you about as well. It involves our two orders. The Grand Abbot actually has something
Yes.
that I need to relay to somebody of your... I was going to stop in Kringle Falls, but if you could take this back to the Archbishop, that would save me the trip."
Yes, I would be more than happy to have whatever information you have.
And Abernathy stands up and says, "All right, enough of this really dark talk. Now, everyone, here, take one of these." And he hands out little rolled pieces of paper. He said, "This is wonderful. Now, this comes, they tell me, the pagans tell me out there on the Western Wildlands, that this comes from a sorcerer who lives actually beyond the Western Wildlands in his own little kingdom that he made, because he's a great sorcerer. It's wonderful, and I've tried it many times myself. It does make things better. So please let us partake. I think that you, especially Duke, will be very interested in using this product." So he hands out basically those little rolled pieces of paper with this leaf in it.
Don't do drugs,
one.
kids.
I'll take one and produce flame with it,
Okay.
and offer the flame out to anyone else and say, "Need a light?"
Nick says, "Such a gentleman." So you guys partake, and so everyone gets +1 to perception,
Oh wow!
+1 to athletics, +1 to
Wow.
acrobatics, and in case of any kind of wisdom save or fear save, anything of that nature, you are at disadvantage.
Oh wow! Okay. Huh?
So it's +1 to perception
So-
and athletics, yeah?
Yep, and acrobatics. So after you guys partake in that, actually nobody says anything else for the rest of dinner. It's like everybody's zoomed in and focused on their meal.
This is delicious.
Yeah,
I
you
never knew
had
I could
butter.
be so hungry.
Yes,
I've
exactly.
never
The
tasted
butter.
such sweet, savory tastes.
There's a tavern in more that town we're in that has equal sort of food to this.
As you guys are finishing up, Nyx whispers in your ear, "Hibonite, You must come with me. I must give you a reading.
Okay.
And Brommel says, you big man, and you little man, join me for a drink on one of the balconies, please.
That sounds good.
And then
Yes.
Abernathy and Adeline go off with the Duke, and Blevin says to you, Margaret, when you're done, please meet me in the chapel.
Yes, I would love to, Blevin.
I will message Sam just so he knows. Margraine, sorry, so he knows where I'm going. The lady wants to read me.
That's all you hear as a response.
So we'll cut to you first, Hibonite. Nyx takes you to her office, which is outside. It's basically like a foyer room before her bedroom. And she sits you down and she says, all right, we will see what the deck of doors has for you. So what I want you to do is roll a d20 3 times.
15, 10, and 11.
Oh, this is interesting to begin with. The first card shows your past, and she flips it over, and it's a death card.
Oh, I mean, I did I kind of died. And then I came back. So it could be both. It could be past and future, because everything dies eventually.
Yes, you become more and more fascinating. And then 11, no 10. And then she flips over another card, and it's a broken clock. This normally means...
That's a weird one.
What's that?
That's a weird.
It means something from your past will come present.
That could be a few things. I hope it's that guy from the Red Hand. He was a really nice person. I remember that. I want to have a chat with him again.
And then she turns over a final card, and it's a cracked mirror.
Ooh,
She says,
that's bad luck.
yes, and it means that you will be trapped between two worlds.
I really hope that doesn't mean that noble elf pirate raider dimension jumping person comes after me. I may have made some bad choice words against him.
And she kisses you.
I kiss her back.
And we'll cut from there.
The rest of it is not PG.
That is correct. All right. So you guys are poured some scotch and are standing out on the balcony with Brommel. So, you, man from the north, I've received word that you are the victim of one of these mage hunters. Is that correct?
That is correct. Do you know something about them?
Our spy networks have indeed found a few things out about them. Apparently, from what we understand, they've come into our land within the past year. What else has come into our land within the past year is, and I do forgive me for saying this, though I know enough about your orders to know there is a difference, Levin the Holy.
I'm sorry, I missed something.
Yeah, he's referring to me?
Yeah, he said that to you,
Oh,
because
okay.
you're both there.
Yes.
So,
Yes, there is a difference.
right, there's definitely a difference. So, where we are with this is, to be quite frank with both of you, we are well aware that these are not Soul Green soldiers
I see.
in the land. My fear is when Crux expanded its borders and decided that it was going to go into Blackwick and Pinewall, the first thing that happened were the Mage Hunters. But before that was what was first known. The first thing that happened was Blevin the Holy came into the land.
I see.
No.
How far after, or how far after that he came did the mage hunters appear?
We don't know the exact time, but it's within a 3-month period from him coming and meeting with the Queen herself to the first reports of the Mage Hunters.
Are you insinuating that the mage hunters are somehow to do with Blevin? Like Blevin controls them, or?
That is the going theory at the time. I'm sure he's not too subtle with his book.
No.
And he took down the name of your friend, as I'm sure you know.
Yes.
That book, what I fear, is as he's heading back to Kretvik's Pass, he will be bringing that book to someone in the Empire, who will unleash targeted assaults with these mage hunters.
I see. And how am I supposed to help with this?
Well, feel free to, and he looks at you, Magnar, and says, feel free to take action into your own hand, however you see fit. I say, if he makes it to Kretvik's Pass with that book, many people will share the same fate as your wife and your friends and your unborn child.
We will have to do something. Cannot allow that.
Yes, it is a unfortunate thing. I know he is also a man of the cloth, but what our sources have said is that he is more in line with the Emperor's needs than that of Theos.
I see.
So where's Blevin now? Was he still inside, or did he
He's
go
in the
off somewhere?
Chapel. I'm meeting him after this.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Man, giving Margaret hard decisions, man. Oh.
Does Blevin worship Theos as well? Or say he does?
Yes.
Wasn't he also the one that Marcus was saying came into the town and is stirring up dissension about sorcerers?
Yes. No, it doesn't seem unreasonable to me.
And from what our networks have told us, that is the case everywhere he goes. Actually,
Can I insight check him?
Yeah.
Is he telling the truth? Let's see. Insight. 9.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Guess I should too, but I trust this guy, so maybe I won't. Never mind.
Yeah. Man. Okay.
Well, if Blevin can lead me to Vadhava, then I will do anything.
Yes, it definitely would be the first step toward finding out.
Margaret, could I come to the chapel with you?
Oh, what do you intend to do?
I do not know yet.
I would say Duke Delacroix is one of the Queen's best allies, and it would be unfortunate, my large friend, if anything were to happen to a well-respected, if somewhat corrupt man of the cloth on his land. That being said, Blevin is beginning his journey to Kretvik's Pass tomorrow.
Then I will follow.
That may be the best. And you will have the gratitude of the Queen as well. This is the first step toward an invasion, and she will be more than happy to do anything to stop. Let your strange friend know that if he helps as well, be to the tune of about 400 gold pieces for the two of you. And you, if you feel that is necessary as well, holy man.
And from what I know of him, like public perception stuff, like is he somebody trustworthy?
As far as you know, he was the most trusted advisor of the king and is now of the queen as well. The king was beloved, and he's also a war hero. He stopped the invasion. The king was killed, but he did stop the invasion of the empire getting through Kretvik's Pass.
You could say he's like a patriot through and through. Like nobody would deny that.
Right.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
So, General, do you know where they're taking those they capture? Have you seen anything? Are they taking them through the pass?
We don't believe they're taking them through the pass. We do believe there may be another way. The pass is so well guarded. That's one of the reasons I'm here. Duke Delacroix has been vital in providing people to guard the pass, and he is a patriot himself. Well, he is a man who knows which side his bread is buttered on, and right now that is with the Queen, and it will never be with the Empire. They don't really look upon the old nobility well, from what I've heard, and the other kingdoms after the Crucians came in, there was much beheading and replacement of the standing nobility.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Margaine's just kind of contemplative, you know? Not saying much, thinking pretty heavily on everything.
Warrior priest, you might not want to keep him waiting. It might be, yes. And stay with me for a second, Magna.
Yeah, I'll walk off.
We do have some suspicions. Within the next week or two, we believe there is a camp that is up in the mountains where they do some, horrible things, brainwashing of kind, to turn them into basically soldiers for the Empire, people who use magic. What exactly they do, we don't know. We have about 3 locations right now we believe to be the case. Hopefully we will have word within the next week that confirms at least 2 of those locations are not correct, and I will keep you informed. At that time, you can help your wife, and whether it means much to you or not, being an outsider, you will help the Queen and this kingdom.
Is there any place close to here that I could check out? Don't feel like waiting if my wife is in danger.
Yes, well, we already have men out there. We're waiting for their return. Now, if they don't return, I will let you know that as well. And you can follow in their footsteps, for if they do not return, I am pretty sure that will be the location we are looking for. But give me some time, and if you need to get in touch with me, I know that you are not of this land, but given what you are looking for, I'd say I trust you the most out of you and your compatriots. And he hands you a small gold coin, and you'll notice that it does have kind of a red tint to it. He said, this was infused with some of the silver that Luxor had found. What we have found is we can communicate. If you hold this and think of me, you have to speak my name out loud, but you will be able to actually ask me questions.
Oh, thank you. I look forward to hearing from you. Does it work the same way? You can talk to me as well?
Yes, and I will be sure to inform you.
And if I find something, I will let you know immediately.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, enjoy the beds. Enjoy the wine.
Thank you.
You make your way into the chapel, Margraine, and you see Blevin there. Oh, Margraine, thank you so much for meeting with me. I know that our orders aren't always the best of friends, and we do have some theological differences. But there's something that I must tell you that concerns me greatly, and I know who you were just speaking with. But are you familiar... Well, I know you are, because your friend blurted it out. You know this group, the Red Hand.
Yes.
I have been sent by the Grand Abbot to try and rout this scourge. It's giving Theos a bad name. And right now, from all of the intelligence we have gathered, it seems that the leader of the Red Hand is none other than Bromwell himself. He seems to be in league with the Crucian Empire. From what we understand, he's made some deals with some of the leaders out there, and he is looking to become essentially the king of Thelma under the Empire. He sold his queen out.
I see. What proof do you have of this?
We have a few ledgers, and he pulls from back of a pew where him normally is, and he hands it to you. Now, these are copied, and unfortunately they're not exactly what we'd be most happy with to show you as full proof, but it does look like he's had some transactions with a few thief groups, thugs really, if you will. I believe one you know quite well, a gentleman named Zorg in Kringle Falls, and he points to a page.
Yes.
Like, there is a payment to his organization here, and it says for services rendered, and it comes directly from Bromwell himself, as you can see.
I see.
Now, I know that's not a lot to be convincing, but I do hope that, as a fellow man of the cloth, and I know that we have disagreements on magic and other things, but you do understand that this is something to be concerned with. And quite frankly, I am not the biggest fan of the Empire. I've seen what it's done, and I do like what I've seen here at Thelma. It would be a shame for the Queen to lose control.
Yes, it would.
Something for you to think about. Like I said, it's a shame that I don't have any further proof, but just keep your eyes open.
Yes, I will for sure keep my eyes open. I have a request that would go much further in helping you prove what you say to me.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you know it's a hard thing to believe. This evening, after my friend Hibonite spoke, you wrote something down in your book.
Yes.
I'd like to see what that is.
Oh, certainly. And he pulls it out and shows you, and he said, and it has written down in the book. It says, "Top hat, golden eyes, shimmering skin."
And is there anything else I'm able to pick up on the page, like really quickly while I look at it?
Looking at the page, you just see like bullet points, and it seems to be just kind of observations. Like some of them are red leaves, yellow pistils, like he's describing flowers. Some of them describe other people. Large doe eyes, small nose, buck teeth,
Okay. I see. Thank you. That has helped a lot.
These are dark times, brother.
Yes, they are. I fear they're only getting darker by the day.
There is very few we can trust, except those who do worship Theos. And even then, I'm not always sure.
Yes, neither am I.
Thank you for listening to episode 9 of Beholder's Eye. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know we did. It is, without a doubt, our kinkiest episode ever. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at @I_beholders and our website, beholdersicast.com. There you can see character portraits and listen to Margraine's journal. Please subscribe and review us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, or whatever podcast app you use. It really helps us out, and we appreciate all the support we can get. Music by INCOMPETECH, Echoes of Time, version 1 and 2, Ever Mindful, Plaint, Our Story Begins, Curse of the Scarabs by Kevin MacLeod, INCOMPETECH.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license, creativecommons.org. Sound effects from freesound.org and zapsplat.com. For a full list of sound effects, please check out our show notes. Editing performed by Sam Canary. Music and effects editing by Benjamin Floyd. Thanks once again, and we'll see you next week.